from the Advanced Communicators Manual, Interpretive Reading. His project is titled The Oratorical Speech. Oratorical Speech. Anthony will be presenting an abridged, modernized version of a sermon by C.H. Spurgeon, delivered over 160 years ago on February 11, 1855, titled Christ Crucified. Unlike typical Toastmaster speeches, interpretive reading does not require memorization, but focuses on the embodiment of the original speaker, bringing the speech to life using one's voice, one's gestures, and body language to express the original speaker's meaning and emotions. Charles Spurgeon is known as the Prince of Preachers by many, and throughout his pulpit ministry, he never let an opportunity pass to share the gospel message, no matter where in the scriptures he preached. Quote, "A sermon does not win souls. A sermon that does not win souls," Spurgeon felt, "is a waste of a preacher's energy." It's Anthony's goal that in the next 8 to 10 minutes you will see this passion and agree that Spurgeon's energy was far from wasted. Please help me welcome Anthony Navarro.
I'm sure we're familiar with the passage from 1 Corinthians. But we preach Christ crucified, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. But unto them which are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. Witness the contempt God has poured upon the wisdom of this world, how he's brought it to nothing. He has allowed wisdom to explain its own reasonings and prove its own shortcomings. Men boasted that they were wise. They said that they could discover God on their own, or at least one in their own image. In order that their palpable ignorance might be proven once and forever, God gave them plenty of opportunity to do so. He said, "Worldling, I give you this problem. Find me. Here are my works. Find me. I give you all the information you need to do it. There is data enough. Behold the clouds, the earth, and the stars. I give you time enough. I will give you 4,000 years, and I will not intervene. I will give you all the men you need. I will make minds great and vast, whom you will call lords of earth. You shall have orators. I will give you philosophers. Find me out, O reason. Find me out. O wisdom, find me out. And if you cannot, then shut your mouth. Shut it forever, and then I will teach you that the wisdom of God is wiser than the wisdom of man. Indeed, that the foolishness of God is wiser than men. And did wisdom succeed? Let us gaze upon the godless nations, and then you will see the result of the researches of their wisdom. We find Sodom on a large scale, corrupt, filthy, depraved, indulging in vices we dare not mention here. We find the men prostrating themselves before blocks of wood and stone. We find, in fact, that reason wrote out her lines with a finger covered in blood and filth, and that she forever cut herself out from all her glory by her vile deeds. She would not worship God. She would not bow to him who is clearly seen, but she would rather worship any and every creature, but not the God of heaven. Poor reason. Poor wisdom. How you have fallen from heaven like Lucifer, that son of the morning. You are lost. You have written your own epitaph. You have displayed your own foolish ignorance. Wisdom had its time, and time enough. It has done its all, and it has made the world worse than it was when it first stepped upon it. And now, says God, foolishness shall overcome wisdom. Now, humble, childlike faith will crumble into dust all the colossal systems their hands have built. One would have imagined that when God sent his gospel, men would meekly listen, humbly and eagerly receiving his truth. When the gospel was preached, instead of being accepted and admired, a universal hiss went up to heaven. Men would not hear it. The first preacher they dragged to the brow of the hill, and they would have hurled him down head first, but alas, They did more. They nailed him to the cross, and there they let him languish. Languish out his dying life in agony, such as no man has borne since. All his chosen ministers have been hated and abhorred by the worldlings. Instead of being listened to, they were treated as the very scum of mankind. They were driven from city to city, persecuted, afflicted, tormented, and stoned to death. Those friends of men, those real philanthropists, who came with hearts big with love and hands full of mercy and lips pregnant with celestial fire and souls that burned with the holy influence. These men were treated as if they were enemies, not as they truly were, the best of friends. We are no different, and hence we find men even today who scorn the gospel. Consider the Greek, or the worldling. He likes eloquence. He admires a smart saying. He loves a quaint expression. He likes to read the latest new book, like Olstein's The Power of I Am. He is a Greek, and to him, the gospel is foolishness. If you're a Muslim or a Hindu or a Wiccan and talk about your religion, he will hear you very patiently. But if you're a Christian and talk to him of Christ, he will stop your sanctimonious chatter. The Greek believes all philosophy except the true one. He studies all wisdom except the wisdom of God. He likes all learning except spiritual learning. He loves everything except that which God approves. He likes everything which man makes and nothing which comes from God. It is foolishness to him, confounded foolishness. He rejects the gospel, despises grace, and laughs at our delusions. The gospel to the Christian is a thing of power, a power beyond all description. What is it that makes a young man devote himself to be a missionary to the cause of God, to leave father and mother, go off to distant lands? It is a thing of power. It is the gospel. What is it that compels a minister in the midst of the Zika virus to climb up that creaking staircase and stand by the bed of some dying creature who has that dying disease? It must be a thing of power, which leads him to venture his life. It is the love of the cross of Christ which bids him to do it. But I behold another scene. A martyr is going to the stake. The wicked men are around him. The crowds mock him, but he marches steadily on. See, they bind him with a chain around his middle to the stake. The flame is lighted up. Listen to his words. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is in me. Bless his holy name. The flames are kindling round his legs. The fire is burning him even to the bone. And see him lift up his hands and say, into you I know that my Redeemer lives, and though the fire devour this body, yet in my flesh I shall see the Lord. What wondrous magic was on him? What made that man strong? What helped him to bear that cruelty? What made him stand amidst the flames? It is the thing of power. It was the cross of Jesus crucified. For unto us who are saved is the power of God. But behold another scene, far different. There is no crowd there. It is a silent room. There is a lonely bed, a physician standing by. There's a young wife, her face blanched by the scourge of cancer. Long has the worm eaten her cheek. There she lie, weak, wan, pale, dying. Yet behold, a smile upon her face. As if she had seen an angel, she speaks, and there is music in her voice. Joan of Arc was not half so mighty as that girl. She is wrestling with dragons on her deathbed, but see her composure and hear her dying sonnet. Jesus, lover of my soul, let me to thy bosom fly, while the nearer waters roll, while the tempest still is high. Hide me, O my Savior, hide, till the storm of life is past, safe into the haven guide. Oh, receive my soul at last. And with a smile, she shuts her eye upon the earth and opens it in heaven. What enables her to die like that? It is a thing of power. It is the cross. It is Jesus crucified. An idea has long possessed the public mind that a religious man can scarcely be a wise man. It has been the custom to talk of infidels, atheists, and deists as men of deep thought and comprehensive intellect, and the Christian a fool. But this is surely a mistake, for the gospel is the sum of all wisdom, an epitome of knowledge, a treasure house of truth, and a revelation of mysterious secrets. And now, my dear friends, solemnly and earnestly I appeal to you. What have you heard me say this morning? Now ask yourself, am I the one who sees the wisdom of God as foolishness? When you receive the gospel of God as wisdom, the longer you live, the more powerful you will find the gospel to be. The more you will know the gospel to be a thing of power and the more you will understand it to be a thing of wisdom. Apart from Christ, I have nothing to preach. I sometimes wonder that you do not get tired of my preaching, because I do nothing but hammer away on this one nail. If you will reject this gospel, at least you'll have to leap to hell over my body. And if you will perish with my arms about your knees, imploring you to stay. If hell must be filled, let it at least be filled against the violence of our exertions, and let us not allow one to go there unwarned and unprayed for. Madam Toastmaster.
Amen.